going on, guys? Welcome back to another DK's Garage. So today I'm going to be starting to talk about a new project I have going on, and it's actually going to be kind of a fun one and a challenging one at that too, because I'm going to title it, "Can you build a competitive drift car for less than $20,000?" And I'm talking LS swap, Dogbox, 500-600 horsepower, wisefab, the whole nine. So obviously that's not going to involve a whole lot of new parts, right? So basically the idea is to kind of be able to find stuff on Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace, eBay, Craigslist, OfferUp, whatever, any one of the sites you normally use, and see, find these deals that are out there, right? So I've been kind of running over the numbers, and it's going to be inherently difficult to do it for under 20 grand. But I think we're off to a good start. So I sourced a LQ9 block complete car. The guy was selling the long block, but I told him I wasn't interested in the heads because I'm going to be running LS3 heads. So I got a LQ9 block with 30,000 miles on it or so. And those of you that don't know, the LQ9 has the flat top pistons, so it has a bump in compression above the LQ4. And then I ordered a set of bare LS3 heads because drifting, we're going to spend a lot of time in the higher RPMs. So I'm going to build the heads anyways with roller rockers and dual valve springs because they're relatively cheap for LS motors. So we have the LQ9 coming, we have the LS3 heads coming, and I have right here, it's a Tex Racing T101A Dogbox with the long shifter. Now this I actually bought off of Matt Field's old crew chief, a guy named Ty down in San Jose, and it's brand new, well basically rebuilt, fresh, and it's got the gear ratios here up top, fourth being 1:1 obviously, and it is the T101A, meaning it has the handcuff links, so you don't have to worry about gear separation. Shout out to him because I really had no idea what I was looking for in a dog box. I found one that was a little cheaper, but it was a T101, and I guess those don't have the handcuffs. I'll be right there. Let me finish this video and I'll be right in. Okay. Love you. I guess my little kid's awake, so I try and get out here early in the morning so I have an hour to myself to kind of record and do a few things. So today I actually popped off the oil pan on the LQ9 and just kind of checked bearings. And now I'll show you what else I picked up yesterday. So this setup, good for high RPM power gains, and so it's an Edelbrock LS3 rectangular port. I think it's called the Super Victor, and I have the fast 4150 throttle body with the Edelbrock fuel rails and dash 8 or 8AN fittings. So this setup makes about 30 horsepower over a stock LS3 intake manifold, based on some Motor Trend thing I was reading, so I don't know what this is going to yield for me, but it's pretty cool. It has almost the same effect as carburetors with the butterfly throttles. But I got this whole setup for $750, and it came with what's up, Tiny? Crazy ass dog. Came with a Motion Raceworks steam port kit. Now these are important too, because what I've been reading is that you really want all 4 steam ports to come to a single point and then circulate back into the cooling system. I think most LSs just kind of go front to back, and they join the backside. This really helps with the coolant temperatures. I had it on my last setup, which was an LS3, and it made a substantial difference in cooling temperatures because I was hot lapping my Z and it didn't get above 180 degrees, which for an LS3 drift car, that's pretty damn good. Also the radiator helps too, I'm sure, but still. So that's what I have here so far. I have a few things coming on order. I ordered this is a big ticket item. Oh, so let me backtrack here. Dogbox I got for $4 grand. If you go try and get one of these new right now with the long shifter, you're looking at like almost $8,000. So they are out there. Some people just have them sitting in their garages for a project they never finished, and they paid $4,000 for them fucking 8 years ago. So they just wanted their $4,000 back, and that's what this was. So I also have it's over there. I have a K&N sprint car air filter that I had off an old project. You guys probably aren't going to have one of those lying around, but you could probably find one used, maybe for like $300-400. So we'll just add that to the total. And then this is something I had no luck finding, which was the T101A or Dogbox to LS bell housing with a clutch kit, complete everything. It would have been like a nightmare to piece it together. So I have a quartermaster 5.5-inch triple disc clutch, bell housing, reverse mount starter, and then the Tri-Lite throw out bearing assembly coming. That was like $2,300. So we're getting up there in the pricing already, but that kind of handles like all the big ticket stuff, right? So the only other thing I have that's like inherently expensive is probably going to be engine wiring, engine management, which I'm probably going to go with a Holley Terminator X, just because it's like a complete kit. I get my ECU, I get my wiring harness, and I get a little controller, which also acts as a little small digital screen. I'm not sure if it displays engine vitals, but it might. So, so far total, look at my phone here. Oh, also, we have the shell too, the S14 with the caged shell and the hydro and everything. That was a pretty screaming deal at $3,000. So let's see here. So, got the shell, the S14 shell, which came with an FD cage, coil, PBM coilovers, a Willwood hydro, a quick release setup already, and dual calipers in the back, which I paid $3,000 for. Okay. Then we got the T101A Dogbox with the shifter that I paid $4,000, so gets us up to $7,000. Then I actually just pulled the trigger and bought the wisefab Odie Edition kit because it uses a front steering rack, and I happen to have an E46 steering rack laying around. And that was expensive. That was like almost $2,800 with the shipping and tax and everything. So that's coming. And then I have LS3 heads, which are $400 shipped off eBay, bare heads. I bought the LQ9 complete short block, got that for $800. Then I just showed you the Edelbrock Super Victor with the 8 fuel rails, the fast one, 4150 throttle body, and the Motion Raceworks Steamport kit that I got off Marketplace for $750. And I got the Quartermaster clutch and bell housing for $2,237 shipped. So that brings me up to $14,166. So I just have under $6,000 to kind of figure out the cylinder head, getting the valve springs, the push rods, the roller rockers. Luckily I have a guy named Joe at PME, that local, that is going to be putting the heads together for me. And he has some stuff in stock that he's giving me a pretty good deal on. So that being said, I have this planned for the rest of it. The Holley Terminator X, about $1,400. I'm debating if I want to try this or not. It's going to save me some money or cost me more money. I'm looking at Corvette headers because they're cheaper than swap headers, and you can get 2-inch primaries. So I'm looking at Speed Engineering 2-inch headers for a C6 Vet for $400. Being that I'm going to sit the motor further back than like your standard LS 240 stuff, I might not have any clearance issues, or I might. So we'll see. And if I do, I'm going to have to order some of those like vibrant 2-inch like UJ bends and try and make it work myself. And then as far as motor and transmission mounts are concerned, I'm gonna make my own custom stuff. So this $20,000 margin kind of determines if like you are capable of like fabricating like small stuff by yourself. Motor mounts aren't inherently that difficult. Neither are transmission mounts. It's just it's time consuming, and it's finicky. So you have to be kind of meticulous with it. So you don't want your engines all crooked or sideways. So I'm going to be fabricating those myself. I'll probably spend $100 on steel. And then, so I'm looking at the BTR Stage 4 NA cam for the LQ9, which should make good power gains up in the high RPM range. It's $850 for the whole kit. Comes with cam, push rods, valve springs, retainers, and then all that jazz. And then I'm looking at the BTR rocker shaft system, which, if you guys don't know, mount all the rockers on a single shaft, which is way more more solid, for like stable higher RPMs, so you don't have to worry about like trunnion bearing failures. And then I'm getting a set of PRW roller rockers They're, according to my engine builder, they're like one of the more budget but like okay quality roller rockers. Roller rockers can get really expensive, so I'm getting those for $250 off of him. I'm also getting oversized Manley Race Master valves. They're a little bit bigger than intake and exhaust from factory. And then as far as rear sump pans is concerned, Siki makes a universal pan, and also Holley does too. So it's kind of going to be like, like Siki's probably has a slightly lower profile, which I'm probably going to go with just for that ground clearance. So it's either going to be like 450 to like $700, depending on like which one I go with. And then there's the issue of just a drive shaft and head gaskets, like miscellaneous gaskets around the engine, and then fueling. So we need fuel lines. There's an upgraded fuel pump already in the car. I don't know if it's going to be sufficient for the power we're going to make. So if it's not, then we're going to go with a radium fuel hanger surge tank and then just swap out the rubber lines for PTFE braided stuff. And then that's going to put us pretty dang near close to our budget. So it might be doable, it might not. I'm gonna kind of take my time buying these things because sometimes stuff pops up on Marketplace, and I'm hoping to find a Holley Terminator X that's like brand new that somebody bought. They didn't finish their project and I get it for $1,000, and that saves me $400, right? So, or some Corvette headers that pop up on Marketplace for $200. So that's kind of the idea that we're sitting with right now. And this has been kind of a long-winded, video of me just talking, but I wanted to kind of give an intro to what you guys can expect, and I'm going to have, of course, some video footage of me installing these parts and the trial and error I run into, and, whether I'm going to be successful with building a pro car for 20 grand or less, or I'm going to fall flat on my face. But the reality is we're trying to bust the myth that you need, $80,000 to $100,000 to build a competitive drift car. You might just have to, buy secondhand stuff to get yourself within that like super budget margin. So let's see what we can do it, guys, and so stay tuned for more on DK's Garage. I have a lot of cool stuff coming. I'm excited to share it with you guys. This is gonna be my little workspace. We're gonna build our $20,000 pro drift car out of a fucking Home Depot shed, and it's gonna be out there in the gravel, and it's gonna suck, but we're gonna do it, and we're gonna see how it goes. All right, guys, stay tuned for more.